Good morning, Patriots. JT here, Serenity Farms Prepping. Let's talk global psychosis, because that's pretty much how we've ended up in this situation we're in. So, if I wanted to create a world of psychosis, not psychotics, psychosis, I would need two factors: fear and anxiety. Then I would need to come up with something, a pandemic, to push the fear and anxiety. That fear and anxiety would have to be pushed by scientists, doctors, politicians, and most importantly, the fake news media. As those of us who are truly awake know without a doubt, the media has played their part better than even the evil satanic scumbags that are pushing this scam on us all thought they could. For once, the fake news has risen above expectations, and they have not let up. So once they instilled fear and anxiety into a certain number of the population worldwide, then those very corrupt and treasonous satanic doctors, politicians, deep staters, Democrats, rhinos, everyone involved in what we're going through, they had to implement edicts and the cure for it all. But we're going to focus on the fear and anxiety and the psychosis of the people who swallow it whole. Like me, many of you have probably attempted a time or two, or three or four, to talk some sense into someone who has partaken of the juicy juice. They become extremely defensive and often belligerent right off. It's not because they don't believe you. It's because you are, quote unquote, forcing them to face their own fear and anxiety, and they can't do it. Yeah, there's a reason why the overwhelming majority of libtards are the idiots they are. It's been proven time and again that they are much weaker mentally than non-tards, because they've never had to think independently or develop cognitive abilities of their own. Hence the term sheeple. So those people were the easiest to develop that psychosis, because they want to believe anything they're told, as long as the person telling them is spewing the ideology that they were raised with. They will never question it, including now. That is why whenever we try and talk to someone, they don't want to hear it. They are not mentally capable of dealing with the truth. You've heard the term fear is paralyzing. Well, in their case it is. But fear is not always paralyzing. More often than not, it's a great motivating factor. It heightens your senses, your awareness, your ability to act. I know that may go against everything you've ever heard about fear, but fear is not a bad thing. We have fear, so to speak, of many things that we know are potentially very dangerous or deadly. That fear leads to respect, and we treat each particular fear factor accordingly. That doesn't mean we're paralyzed. It means we do what we're supposed to do and proceed. That's not happening in a way. See, the people who have juicy juiced believe that they are alleviating their fear and anxiety with and the juicy juice, and staying home and shunning their family and their neighbors and murdering their children. Warped, I know. That's what confuses those of us who think clearly and see the truth. We're rational people, so it's extremely difficult for a rational person to get inside the minds of people who are acting completely irrational. Because we think independently and rationally, some of us really don't know how to deal with irrationality because it's not anything we've ever had to deal with. You know, luckily or unluckily for me, in my job, law enforcement, doing mental health profiles, dealing with all sorts of psychosis and irrational people, was part of my daily work. Sometimes I wish I didn't know as much as I did. It's still perplexing and frustrating, even though I understand where the fear, the anxiety, the irrationality, the psychosis comes from. Knowing all those things doesn't mean that you can fix something. It means you probably get to deal with it better on your level. And you may help the person be able to deal with it a little better on their level. The problem we have with what's happening now is once these folks' fear and anxiety has led them to the state they're now in because of what they've done to themselves, we're going to have an entire new psychosis to deal with when these people are finally smacked in the head and fully awakened to what they've done to themselves and others around them. Many people, when they finally realize what they've done, will not be able to handle it and will take the Clinton way out. It's sad to say, but it's true. It's already happening at record levels since this whole scam started. Imagine the numbers when these people realize they're dead men walking and potentially killing all those they're around. Ironic in a I told you so kind of way, isn't it? Seeing as we are the ones that were being accused of being the problem. Sadly, many of us won't know how to deal with this uncontrollable psychosis that those folks are going to be suffering, and it's going to affect many of us. I'm not sure how we get out of this. I have some ideas of my own, just like everyone else does. I'd be interested in hearing yours. But you need to realize that very shortly we're going to be dealing with a bunch of psychotic zombies who may or may not be able to be ordered somehow to commit acts they normally wouldn't do. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT signing off.